your business.
We gotta stop. Okay, come on, everybody. Get close. So tell us again, Seko. So you said we got to talk about endowments again because this is crazy. Okay, come on. Let's do endowments again.
So you take a certain amount of money.
Got it.
All right. You place it into an endowment, which is a lot of people putting money together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It gets 17 or more % interest. And then they're able to take the money, the interest, and maybe take 6, 8, maybe 10% and use that. The rest of it stays in the endowment. It continue gaining.
Come on, somebody.
So endowments are everywhere. And that's one of the ways. That's one of the ways that we can ensure that we have generational wealth.
That's
look.
Well, hello there, Flawless family. It is I, Tiara Walker Holloway, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Flawless Living Made Simple, Winning Mindsets. Now, today in studio and kicking off 2025 Black History Month, absolutely, even though we know Black History is every day, is the illustrious Seko Varner. Now, this gentleman I have known for a decade, okay? Did you realize that? I've known you for 10 years.
Incredible.
Since 2015.
Wow.
Yep, we met in 2015. Either 2015 or 2014.
Yeah. Easily a decade.
Yep, easily. Yep, so I have known this gentleman for a decade now, and he is one of Hampton Roads' most amazing advocates for all things positive, not just positive, business, Black business, and uplifting the community. Combined with he and his amazing wife, together they make a power team that is hard to match, and they are a pleasure to know. Now with Seko in studio today, we are going to be focusing on his most recent project, but since this is Winning Mindsets, I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to get to know him a little better.
Yo, salute to the mindsetters. I'm not sure what you call them. You call them
the Flawless family.
The Flawless family.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a tongue twister.
No.
The Flawless fam. What's up, Yo, what up, fam? I'm Seko Varner. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I think my biggest passion right now is education through media. So I just put out a 3-episode docu-series. It's actually a documentary mixtape series called GenerationalFlip. And here's the basis of it. What we learned in earlier generations is not serving us right now. So we need to do a flip.
Right.
We need to do something. When we flip houses, you and I both flipped houses. That's one of the things I do to make the coin. We take something that's broken, we fix it, we make it anew, and then we put it back on the market. Mm-hmm. So I think our mentalities, our cultural beliefs, our habits, we need to flip those things that the earlier generations taught us and do something new. And it's going to get us a better result. So that's what Generational Flip is all about. We have 3 episodes right now. Episode 4 is going to be dropping really soon.
Okay.
Happy about
Congratulations.
that.
That's super dope.
So it's set up where we have episode 1, 2, and 3 are season 1. And season 1 is how to create generational wealth.
Okay.
And the mindset you need to go through that journey. All right. So we'll tap into that. Season 2, which starts with episode 4, is mental health and wealth. And we call that mental wealth. You like that, right? You like that.
That's
mental
pretty
wealth.
Smart.
Right?
Cool.
Right,
yes,
right.
absolutely.
So that one is, we're still creating wealth.
Right.
But we're going to maintain our mental health. We're going to bolster. We're going to heal ourselves. We're going to do a lot of great things. And the two go together.
Absolutely.
The two go together. So you can find Generational Flip on GenerationalFlip.com. That's our official website, GenerationalFlip.com. But you can always go to YouTube, right? You go to the Our Black Empowerment channel. Just go into YouTube and type in Generational Flip.
Absolutely.
You'll find episode 1, 2, and 3. And I tell you.
And wait a minute, 1 second, not to cut you off. Also, as you
know,
no problem with that. We want you to talk. We're here to listen to what you have to say.
Gotcha.
I just want to make sure that while you're going on ahead and giving a little promo, our guests and our returning viewers also know that whenever we have a guest, all of the information on everything we talk about today and how to reach Seko, how to tap into his resources and this amazing docu-series are going to be down below. So when you go down there to like and subscribe, just click the info box and you can go directly to watch that first episode of the docu-series. And with it being 3, just go ahead and just get your food together, get your snacks together, and just sit back and relax and watch it with the family too. Because the good thing about this docu-series is it is something that's spoken in a level that is relatable to many generations. So you can watch this with your children. This is something that you can watch. It's almost like, when you were saying that, I was thinking of, what was the name of it? That it came out in 6 or 7 episodes about us. Oh my God, what is the name of that movie? It's like, you know, it was produced by that doctor, Tariq Nasheed.
Oh, okay.
What is the name of that?
Okay, that was the impetus for this.
Right, that's what is the name
talking about
of it.
Colors.
Thank you. I was about to say, dang,
right.
look.
And
do not take my card away, okay? Because you knew what I was talking about, okay? I'm telling you, look, don't take my card, okay? Hidden Colors, that's what I was thinking when you said the first 3 episodes, because when we were talking about it and when I was just glancing at it and taking a look to kind of get ready for this, you figured that it did present in such a way that was like, oh, okay, I can watch this with the kids. Yeah, because when Hidden Colors came out, we definitely
cursing,
watched it.
No profanity.
Right.
No nudity. And I like all those things, but they're not in the
docu-series. Right. They don't have a place in this particular docu-series, you know. So absolutely. But no, this is good. And then it's really strong hearing a man, especially a black man, talking about mental health and how it relates to overall health, because everything is kind of mind, body, spirit, right?
True.
So in order to, you know, we talk all the time when you're watching the episodes about being it, doing it to have it, right? It starts in your mind. You got to know who you are before it can present to the world, because perception is reality. So when you know who you are, you can present that to the world. So this is a great way to get that mental reset that you need as we come up on the real New Year spring. That'll be here soon. As you close out this season, go ahead and tap into Generational Flip for you and your family, even if it's something that you're just looking for to cleanse your mind and kind of get a fresh insight on a new way to go about things, or an up level. Because one of the things that I found is that truly
keep cooking.
No, because truly the thing is that you can never know enough stuff. I have a good friend that owns a couple of successful companies, right? And the other day, we were having lunch and she's like, yeah, you know, I started going back to school. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, you surprised? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not surprised.
Well, that's because you know the secret.
Right, but yeah, because you got to stay learning.
You know that's the secret.
You got to stay learning. You can never know everything. So why not gather as much information as you have? And then the other thing is that you can't hold all the information. So the more you know, the more you can share to empower others.
Ooh, preach.
I'm telling you, it's a part of my passion, though, Seko. You know that. It's a part of my passion. That's the reason why I consider myself what people would say a Renaissance person, is that I try to know. One of my girlfriends said at her birthday party, actually, and it was such a high compliment. She said, Tiara is my encyclopedia friend. And that was such a high compliment, because I am that way. I try to know enough to get you going, enough to give you enough information to inspire you to do the research, to follow through on your own goals, on a variety of subjects. And I think that that's a testament to my parents and what they taught us, you know, well-rounded.
That's a testament to you, too. I mean, can I get an Ashe? That's
Dr.
Umar voice. Dr. Umar voice. Can I get an Ashe?
I'm telling you.
All right. Amen. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. Can I get a let it be?
Yes.
Can I get all that? Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff. I mean,
no, seriously. So I'm very proud of you for putting this out. And it's a good thing. It is a good thing. Now, tell us just a little bit, because before you got to this, okay, you and I worked together, we taught classes together, I watched your growth, right? And as a person that I consider you a contemporary. So I know you might be a smidgen older than me, but I consider you my contemporary. However, watching you over this past decade or so, being interested in it, trying, starting again, pivoting, adjusting, getting to know, creating and growing, what would you say helped you most in developing your own mindset to feel confident enough to give it to others? Meaning, one of the things that we laughed about before we started today was, I said to you, well, what are you doing now? You said, well, I'm still a teacher. And all these years I've known you, I knew you were a teacher. Like, I knew that. However, you have the energy and you show up for so many people in the community. You participate. You have other businesses, like you said, serial entrepreneur, that you're always there at these. You are a staple at these community events that empower people, and it is never necessarily serving yourself, which is a testament to Seko winning Entrepreneur of the Year last year for Black Brand, our regional Black Chamber of Commerce here in Hampton Roads.
Right.
So you always show, but what allowed you, or what helped you to develop the mindset to be able to speak to these things in this way? And I know it's not just you in the docu-series.
You know, all due respect to my parents.
Okay.
My mother was a writer, my father was a writer, and in their own different ways. And now it's kind of wild because I'm starting to really appreciate who they were and what they were to me, when I couldn't really appreciate it. You know, so my mother, she integrated Columbia Theological Seminary in Georgia. It's on the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. So she was the first Black to graduate from that school. She was the first Black woman to matriculate at the school. The first Black that started was her pastor. And her pastor was like, yo, we need to come through, take these classes. He never finished. She did.
Wow.
She got spat on. She got people that were spitting in front of her when she was walking to class.
At the theological school.
Oh, woo.
All right. That's tough.
White supremacy is a religion. So she went through some junk. Now here's the interesting thing, right?
Okay.
So my father was in Scotland.
Okay. What was he
right.
doing what was he doing over
So my father was a minister, right?
Okay.
So he was doing some ministerial work, interning in Scotland.
Okay.
And he was in Scotland, and this is crazy. This is crazy. It's like crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. It's one of them type of things, right?
Okay.
So he was interning in Scotland.
Okay.
And the person who was interning under said, hey, back in the States, my brother is the provost at Columbia Theological Seminary. They have their first Negress student. If you go back to the States, I want you to look up this Negress student and become a friend, because she's having a hard time. She's thinking about dropping out. My brother's doing everything he can to hold her there, but she's ready to quit. She's ready to beat some people up and that type of stuff. So my father's program ended, and he went back to Alabama, where he was from, and then he got stationed to do some stuff in Atlanta.
Okay.
So
which
he
is
met her,
there. Right, absolutely.
So he met my mom, and then they started going out just as friends.
Right.
He was taking her to plays, to the opera. He was involved in a whole lot of stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. And look, what they call it back then, courting.
They
sound
were
like that. Yeah,
but
exactly.
he says they were friends first, because I got a chance to see his resume.
Okay.
So, I can say this: he wasn't her only choice, and she wasn't his only choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think he had a little more choices. His resume was kind of thick, but they became friends.
Right.
Then they became a couple. Then they got married.
Wow.
And they got married because she was having a hard time integrating college. It's crazy, right? Right. So that's the type of person that she was. She was like, I'll rise to the occasion. And my father was a deep writer. He was strong. He did stuff. You know, he was one of the first Blacks during that time to go to a Jewish camp and become a assistant director at a Jewish camp. He spoke Hebrew. Yo, he did some deep stuff. So I would say a lot of that comes from my parents because they pushed me to do a lot of things.
Okay.
But the other thing is, I learned the secret. You talked about that.
Okay.
We learned the secret.
Yeah.
The secret is ABL, always be learning. Continuous improvement.
Yes.
You know. So like when I work with students, say, hey, so-and-so is rich. Like, yeah, so-and-so is rich. Why are their children going to college? Why do rich people put their children in college? Because if you and I were rich, what would you? I'd be sitting at home. I'd be chilling. I'd be doing So why do rich people put their children in school? To learn how to obtain and maintain and transfer power.
Right.
So that's what the whole documentary series, the mixtape series, is about. How to obtain, maintain, and transfer power, which might be resources. It might be money. It might be property. It might be businesses. It might be ideas. It might be networks. It might be insight. How to obtain everything I just talked about, maintain everything I just talked about, and transfer everything I just talked about. So let's go to episode 1. Episode 1 has my mentor, A. Donahue Bailey.
Okay. Awesome. Clap it up.
Clap it up for A. Don. A. Don is, let me put it this way. He had a very short window of time. He was like, Seko, I can meet with you next week, Tuesday at 5. I went to work. I got off at 3. I hit the road. I drove to New Jersey. I interviewed him. I captured him for the documentary mixtape series.
Right.
I hung out with him as he did workshops. I left at 1 in the morning.
Wow.
Drove back to VA and went to work.
Yeah,
because he's that valuable.
Right.
So in the documentary mixtape series, he teaches 6 steps to generational wealth. Now look, this is the thing. Most people think generational wealth is a lot of money. It's not.
Right.
It's not.
Right. Okay.
Most people think you can get generational wealth in like one thing. If I get a pro contract, I'm generational wealth.
Right.
No. Most people think that if you don't make a lot, you won't be able to create generational wealth. That's not. So generational wealth is getting something, obtaining something that's valuable.
Okay.
Right? Maintaining, making it grow, putting it in a platform, in a vehicle that makes it grow in value. And then having the vehicle, platform, structure, contract, whatever, so it can be transferred in a way that multiple generations can benefit from. So look, you can take $100 if you put it into the right platform, the right vehicle, where it doubles, where it triples, where it grows exponentially, incrementally, either way. And then you set it up so it can transfer to others, continue its growth, and continue to transfer its value to others. You created generational wealth.
Right. And you know what? One of the interesting things is you're saying that all I can think about when we think about the barrier to entry, and I'm happy that you brought that up, is that most people think it takes a whole lot. There was a story, I know it's been told several times, and I'm sure I'm going to transpose one thing or another, but it was basically this lady. She was an accountant. She didn't make much, and she was on a fixed income, and she didn't die until she was like 90. And when she passed, they found her investment book, and it was worth like $9-10 million because she had been incrementally investing since she started working in her teens or her early 20s. So although she retired and was still living off that fixed income until she passed away, she had $9 or $10 million. Here's the thing that's gonna blow your mind. This was in the 1950s.
Oh, easy.
So do you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
because
it's
look, our the generation that preceded us, some of them learned the secret. Some of them learned the secret.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, is that she invested. However, another thing that I believe that a lot of people don't realize is a great entryway to generational wealth is insurance, life insurance.
Right.
And we had our last episode, the season 2 kickoff, was Brandy Hubbard. So if you guys, you're listening to this, because it looks like the way this season is shaping up is we get your mind and your money right. Okay, season 2, Flawless Living Made Simple. Okay, so go back and watch episode 11 after you finish watching this one, so that you can get the info on the insurance and start incrementally creating or growing your generational wealth slowly but surely, like we talk about all the time, one step at a time. Okay, so that's what I was thinking, is that insurance. However, one of the other things, though, is that insurance is hard to figure out if you don't have the right guidance with it. And so that's the thing, just like anything. So I think that one of our biggest, my whole point of saying that is that I feel like one of our biggest barriers to creating generational wealth is the ignorance of not just the products, because a lot of people know about insurance, a lot of people know about real estate investment, a lot of people know that stocks exist. However, there are so many short form, especially now today in technology, so much short form content that makes it seem like that 60 seconds of information is all that it takes, as opposed to getting some true advisement. Or guess what, you guys? Guess what you could do? Read a book. Yep, I said it. What about books? You know, like we talk about how people don't want to share information, or people are gatekeepers and stuff like that. So much of the information that we are missing is right in books. I mean, I know we can look at YouTube University. You're watching this on YouTube, so you're learning something today, right? And I appreciate you watching. However, so much of the information that we are looking for is in books. I mean, it's in the books.
You know, let me tap in. There's supposed to be gates.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be gatekeepers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like in one of the books of wisdom, it talks about not giving pearls to the swine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gatekeeper, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, I get it.
Right. So my point is, there's always going to be gates. There's always going to be people who are keeping the gates.
Right.
And the gatekeepers let in the people who are ready. There's an ancient African phrase that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when you're ready, when you've studied, when you've gotten the information, then the gates are closed.
But that's the thing. That's what, and that's
you got to prep yourself.
But you are making my point.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, I didn't mention gatekeepers, because in my mind, I feel like every gate that I've approached, just like you said, if it wasn't open, it was because I wasn't properly prepared.
Boom.
Right? You weren't properly prepared. So when doors open, when gates open, just like you said, you have to be properly prepared. So that's why doing the research, and like you said, ABL, always be learning, will allow for you to pass on that information and utilize it in your real life. The biggest thing, though, is the action behind it, because we can learn and learn and learn. If you never apply, you will not get there. So back to generational.
Back to generational flip. So A. Donahue Baker goes through his 6 steps to create generational wealth. Okay. And I'm going to hit number 1, and I'm going to hit number 6.
Okay, that's it.
So number 1, he talks about the first step is to make yourself a thousandaire. All right. Okay. And he says that's the point in which most Americans, if they can make $100,000, and that's the definition of thousandaire. Right. $100,000. Okay. Not 1,000. Right. $100,000. Okay. If you can make $100,000, most Americans are in a position where they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, and they can put some money into their investments, right?
Absolutely.
Let me turn my phone off. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Here we go. So look, thousandaire. Make yourself a thousandaire. Right. How do you do it?
Right.
Do whatever you got to do. So like, let's say you work as a teacher. You make $60,000. Mm-hmm. What do you have to do now? You have to do something else that's going to get you $40,000 more. Because you're probably able to live off that 60, right? It might be paycheck to paycheck, but you're living off that 60. Right. You add another 40 to it, you can invest that whole 40, right? And that 40 is going to do something for you. Yes. So let's say you make 80. Yes. You can make 20 more. Right. Absolutely. Let's say you're making 100,000. If you're living well, if you're living beneath your means, you probably already have it. And the situation is, a lot of people don't think they can make $100,000. They just don't have the mindset or the belief. And I really think that some people are like, all right, so the belief.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's because you hang out with people like
that. I didn't know that.
You hanging with Brandy Hubbard. I was hanging out with Rubbing Shoulders at the event last Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah, no, for real. I didn't know that though. I didn't know that. You know what though? I think that just really quick. I just want to say, I had a friend. We were talking earlier today, and we were talking about different things that we do in our daily lives. And I was telling this person that what I've learned in my years, right, is that at the end of the day, you gotta just do what works for you, right? I know it sounds so simple. So in embracing that, right, there are a lot of things that I'm just not going to know because it's not in my purview. Just like we talked about, perception is reality. Mm-hmm. So it's like, even though I know teachers, right, great teachers, and my mom was a teacher, and you're a teacher, right? So you figure that every teacher that I know is like so uber responsible financially, and they seem so happy, and they take vacations.
The ones you know.
I mean, I'm just saying the ones that I'm talking about with the income that they make.
Right now,
you know, like they manage it.
So I'm in a building, and I see them coming back and being a substitute teacher, so they can make ends meet.
Right.
After they retire.
Right.
You know, I saw a lot. I used to work in P-Town, Portsmouth, Virginia.
Yes.
And salute to P-Town. P-Town, Vietnam.
One
of the things that blew me away is, this is circa 1993.
Right.
All right. Most of the teachers didn't have outside investments. They had, the school system was going to do it. PTA was going to do it. I was like, what do you have for yourself? I just let them handle it. Most of them didn't have their own investments. Right. And so I love teachers. I love educators.
Right.
A lot of times we get so drawn and so passionate about helping the next generation that we don't help our next generation.
Right.
So look, GenerationalFlip.com, that's the website.
All right.
You can find Generational Flip on YouTube. In episode 1, I told you the first thing Don says is become a thousandaire. The 6th step.
Okay.
I'm going to do number 1 and 6. Number 6th step is you have to place your resources that you've made value into platforms, products, vehicles that will ensure that they will be passed on in a way that you can determine. So, like, one thing that you talked about and that I've learned about is called an endowment.
Okay.
Right. So we know about endowments. So for those who don't, it's pretty simple. I used to work with the Access College Foundation.
Okay.
So with their endowment, right, they have a really big endowment, multi-million endowment. What it is I could take $5,000, right? I can put that $5,000 and donate it to the Access College Foundation. And by placing it into their endowment, which is their investment, I can give a scholarship of $1,000 over to you. Forever and ever and ever and ever.
Wow.
By taking that, it might be 10.
Right.
By taking that 10,
I
can make sure that students go to school with a $1,000 scholarship.
From you. From your family or trust.
Exactly. Forever and ever. And ever and ever for perpetuity.
And it's because their endowment is invested.
They invest their monies in their endowment.
I'm right there.
Great.
See, I got my notes.
Right. They have a fiduciary who's over that investment. Who makes sure that investment makes over 17% per year. And then they're able to do this, and this.
Wow, so 17% is high. That's high. That's really good.
Oh, it's really good.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's really good.
And they've been doing it for decades.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, I'm happy to know that.
Right.
I need to talk with
they're not
more.
They're not the only endowment.
Right.
But that's one way that the Rockefeller family, that's way a lot of these foundations who give scholarships to their family. That's one way.
Oh, that's smoking. Okay, wait a minute. Go back.
Some of those scholarships aren't simply college.
We gotta stop.
It might be training school. It might be starting your business.
We gotta stop. Okay, come on, everybody. Get close. So, tell us again, Seko. So you said we gotta talk about endowments again because this is crazy. Okay, come on. Let's do endowments again.
So, you take a certain amount of money.
Got it.
All right. You place it into an endowment, which is a lot of people putting money together. Right. It gets 17 or more % interest. and then they're able to take the money, the interest, and maybe take 6, 8, maybe 10% and use that. The rest of it stays in the endowment. It continues gaining.
Come on, somebody.
So endowments are everywhere, and
Winning
that's one of the
mindsets.
ways. That's one of the ways that we can ensure that we have
That's
generational wealth.
That's
So
me.
look, you take your GIUL or your IUL,
Okay.
which is an Index Universal Life,
Okay.
or a what's the G? The G is the Guaranteed Index Universal
Yeah, I
Life,
think it's guaranteed.
or it's not guaranteed. It's all right. Anyway, you take one of those 2 insurance products, right? So that's going to gain interest, and
Right.
you know you're able to do all those great things that GUILs,
Right.
IULs do, and then when you pass, you take those death benefit monies, place it into an endowment. And they can take care of the children's children for perpetuity.
So let me ask you this. What would you say now? I know we talking about generational flip, but you got this info. When in mindset, you better tap in.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, go
Okay.
to GenerationalFlip.com or check out Generational Flip on YouTube. I don't talk about this. The professionals, the people that do this all the time, like A. Donahue
Why
Baker.
is he talking like he's not a professional?
I'm
Goodness
talking
gracious.
about the people who. Okay,
We
all right.
understand.
Look,
but you are.
so in the Generational Flip docu-series, it's a documentary mixtape series, I've interviewed people who are doing stuff like this all the time.
Right.
Right. So these are the pros that I'm letting you have access to for free or for a small fee. And so if you go to GenerationalFlip.com, you may pay for it. You get the full thing, no commercials, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You can download it. If you go to YouTube, you got to deal with YouTube.
Right. You gotta deal with YouTube.
And the commercials, and,
Right.
that's all good. So either way you want to do it. But my point is, I've gone and done some of the hard work of making the connections, of driving out to Jersey, driving out to Baltimore, hanging out with Angel Rich. Look, Angel Rich just became a illionaire. And I'm going to put the letter B, the second letter in front of illionaire. Billionaire. And she's giving up the game. You know, I drove out there to Baltimore 3 or 4 times. Well, not the outskirts of Baltimore. She lives in fancy.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah,
this is what
$1
I
million
wanted.
home.
No, I wanted to ask you this though, as we are relating to this. So, would you say that endowments versus trust? What would you say about that?
Well, endowments do one thing.
I know, but that's what I'm
Trust
saying.
do the other.
So would you say that both
All
of
of them
those
work
vehicles?
together.
That's what I'm saying. You would want both of those vehicles to work simultaneously.
I would say that once you sit down with a pro who's going to help your money grow, right? Help your resources, your valuables grow, they will determine which one of those products, services, vehicles is best in itself or in combination. So like I just talked about, if you take the death benefits from your IUL or your GIUL,
Right.
you put it into an endowment,
Right.
that's one way,
Right.
but that's not the only way.
Right.
So
right.
have
'Cause
you
I
ever
know
heard of
as-
the family
as
bank?
using the trust. Yes, I
Okay.
have. But tell the viewers about it.
All right, so A. Donahue Baker used to work at a family bank. So what's a family bank? Family bank is a family that's wealthy, hires people, CPAs, tax strategists, which are different things, right? CPA, tax strategists, and other people who handle investments to make sure that their money continues to grow.
Yes.
And that the family bankers do the work for the family to make sure the money grows. So the family employs people. Listen to me. They employ people to make sure that their money grows and is in a vehicle that the money, that resource, those properties, whatever, can be passed on in perpetuity.
Yes, my mentor about, I want to say it's been about maybe 10 or 12 years ago, he established a family bank for his death, and they actually created a company.
Yeah.
So they created a company, and then they meet every month, whether it be virtually or it be in person, and they meet with those people, and they come and tell them about what everybody is doing, and what is this doing, and what is that doing, and then they have a big meeting, like twice.
An annual meeting.
Yep.
Right. Well, I'm glad you said that. Oh, that's biannual.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do it biannual. They do because they have that one meeting like every month, just like as a review. And then biannually, they have like a big meeting because he's the main one. And then his kids are now same age as my oldest, so like 23, all the way up to maybe 29. But he started it when they were like 16, when the twins were 16. And then the other thing is that because his dad is extremely successful too, and his dad started it for his family. So his dad started it for him and his brothers.
It just takes one.
But that's what I'm saying. So then he, in his own family, as his kids got older, created another one. So it's like they have these connected family business portfolio strategists,
The reason I said it only takes one is in episode 3 of GenerationalFlip, no, episode 2. William Randolph, one of the mentors here in the Hampton Roads area, talks about how he created a legacy bank and how it only takes one person. And once you have proof of concept, then everyone else wants to follow along. So, interestingly enough, my father used to tell me the story about his college roommate. So, my father, when he was in seminary school, his college roommate was going to doctoral school. And my father would stay up and he was studying and drinking a lot of coffee and everything. He was trying to stay up so he could study and learn everything he could, ADL, right? His roommate was partying all the time, was drunk a lot, got high a lot, was always out. But his roommate made straight A's in his doctoral, like a medical doctoral program. My father was kind of struggling with his PhD program. And my father finally said, "Hey, what's the deal? I don't think you're much smarter than me. How the hizzy are you doing all this stuff?" And his roommate said, "It's simple. My father is a chief of surgery. My mother is a head nurse. My grandfather is a dentist." He said, "So all my life, I've been learning and been exposed to medical information. Once I graduate, I don't have to look for a job. There's a job waiting for me. I've been exposed. I'm just here for the document saying that I'm a doctor." And the difference was, he was exposed to all this information. My father wasn't. So my father had to work. He had already been exposed. So we can expose our children to this information young, and then they don't have to work. They don't have to study. They've already been exposed to it. So to go back to your story, in the pandemic, when my disc jockey business stopped, I said, I got to find something to do, right? My father had passed in 2017, something like that. And one of the things he told me was, "Look, I taught you how to be a good man, taught you how to be a good husband. Hopefully I taught you how to be a good Christian." That's still up in the air. Can I get eyes shade? Can I get eyes shade? All right. So he said, "But what I didn't teach you is how to handle money, because I never learned. So what I need you to do is, after I pass, teach the family about money. Learn and teach them." So that got me, so my father passed. I was in a fog for about 10 years. I couldn't tell you what I did for 10 years. I was messed. I said 29. It was 2009.
2009.
All right. So so until 2019, I was literally in the fog. I really apologize to my children because I don't know what I did. They said I did well.
They're alive.
Yeah, my wife hadn't left me, so I must not have done a whole lot of crazy stuff. Right. Well, I did get caught, or who knows? Because I can't remember. But my point was, he told me to learn about money and teach the rest of the family. So when my disc jockey business stopped in the pandemic, I did some research, and I learned that I could create an investment group. All right. So I had been a part of an investment group years before. When my father was alive. And it kind of petered out. So we started one for our family. So now, once a month, we meet online. Once a month, we all invest into the family investment group. And once a month, we look at our investments. We look at potential investments. We look at stocks. We look at REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, We look at startups. We look at hard money flip, hard money lending. We look at a lot of different things, and we make determinations on the money that we put together. And we're doing this for the future generation, for the family. And the great thing is, we're all learning. I'm a better investor now 3 years later, we started the talk in 2020. I want to say 2021, 2022 is when I finally pulled the trigger on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we have 3 years in,
Mm-hmm.
and we have annual meeting,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a meeting every month.
Wow.
Right. So what
So
we're
that's
doing.
very similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it can be done.
Yes, it can.
And that's one of the things that Generational Flip teaches people.
Absolutely.
Look, you can go from step 1 through step 6
Right.
and pass on wealth in a way that it continues growing and continue growing in a way that passes on. Right?
That's
So that's
dope.
the thing about generational wealth.
Right.
So it ain't a whole lot of money,
Right.
but in many cases it is.
Right. No, I mean, and
Right.
that's the thing is that I remember I had a situation in our family where a family member had sold a house. That, you know,
Should have stayed.
for all intents and purposes, we would have wanted to stay. And I was mad for years.
Oh, I feel that.
I was mad for years,
I
even
feel
though,
that.
you know, it was not in any way my business or control outside of me being, this is my immediate family we're talking about. And so I went and visited some other members of my family, some more elders. And so, you know, I'm down there just talking cash, right? I'm just talking.
We curse on this podcast.
And I think we can, but I'm trying to.
We went past the 5-minute mark on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, but you know, I'm really talking shit about my family member, and I was like, you know, I guess the reality is that if you've never seen that much, then it's a lot to you.
Right.
And my elder family member said, correct, and that's the point. Is that just like you was just saying about the 100,000 and how people don't think that they can make 100,000, right? And this is anything about my own income or about me, right? It's not about me because I'm a startup still. My business is in year 4, so I consider.
But you got some blame. I mean, look at the outfit. You got some blame.
Anyway, so we ain't talking about that.
She got that blame.
We ain't talking about that. I'm just saying we're not talking about me. We're talking about the fact that because I've always been a person that made money, and just here in the past probably 15 years,
right,
learning how to even manage or be disciplined about money. Nobody taught me how to. Just like your dad, nobody taught me anything about money. I say this on this all the time. Nobody taught me anything. I'm still learning about money. And I'm telling you, I'm still learning about it. However, when my family member said that, it really changed the way I felt because I didn't realize that you really can't see it, you know, because that person wasn't in the press. It wasn't like they had to, you know what I'm saying? However, when faced with that amount of money, which was less, the whole point of this is saying it was less than 100,000, so it wasn't even make them 1,000 there. Mm-hmm. You know, it wouldn't even make them a 1,000 there. You know, so it's like, what you selling for? You know, and it changed my heart about it because a lot of times it is hard to get your family to see that, or even the people around you sometimes, which is why you continuously are evolving your circle and your friend groups and your associations. It's sometimes hard for people to see that in order to get somewhere, you got to take the steps and you got to let the time pass and you got to give the money the time to mature. And so I think that think that that's the biggest challenge is because here recently, you know, we have our little family group chat, and I feel that I'm really pushing for that, and it's not because my family is not smart with money or any of those things. We have some really successful people in my family. I'm so thankful for them. And I know collectively we're not doing anything as that family. And so it's something that I've been talking about. And the point is that when I put it out this time, more people responded. So I feel like I'm, come on, family. Yeah. We get into it. We gonna get to it. So, you know, but that's what I'm saying is that, so hearing you, the reason I brought all that up was to say, to hear you say that you started talking about it in 2020, that it took to 2022, it encourages me, right? Yeah. That if I continue to do the right things in my own business, in my own life, and keep leading by example in my generation of my family generations, I feel like we can collectively get this thing going, you know, because I feel like it's the only way, and I feel like it's the way to sustain us despite what's happening in the administration. I think it's the way to sustain us despite what's happening in this capitalist society that we live in.
I'm a capitalist.
No, it's nothing wrong with that, but we are operating in that system.
Right.
So you figure that if you're operating in that system and everything revolves around how much you earn and what you can afford, right? Which that is what capitalist society is. Then you have to know how to operate within that construct.
I think that you and I may
in
have
a way
different,
that can give you joy.
I think you and I may have different definitions of capitalism. But let me go back to something.
Okay.
I feel you.
Okay.
I feel you because I went through a similar situation. All right, so when I was out in dating, after I graduated from Hampton University, salute the better HU. Hampton University is the better HU.
The real HU.
Howard University is the real HU. Hampton University is the better HU. All right, now Howard became HU first because we were HI. So I love it.
They did.
I love it. And salute to my Spartans.
Right. Oh, because you already know what I'm going to say.
Hey, look, I'm a Hampton grad and a Spartan dad. And
all
the
right.
good thing about the Spartans is, you know, hey, they paid me to run a program for, you know, Norfolk State University.
Right.
And they chose me over a Spartan.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That meritocracy works, baby.
We give you that little teeny.
So here's the deal. When I graduated, I bought a house.
Right.
And so I had my own house. I got married, right? And before we got married, I encouraged my then friend, now wife, to get her own house.
Right.
I was like, you renting still? What's up with that? You got no. So we encouraged, we helped. No, I ain't gonna wait. I'll wait till I get married. No, get your own spot. Right. Nothing's promised. Right. So she got her own spot.
Right.
We got married. We moved into her spot.
Right.
When it became a little too small for her because we had our first child.
Right.
And we were expecting our second child.
Right.
She wanted to sell.
Right.
So I had my house.
Right.
She had her house.
Right.
Now they were both really our houses.
Right.
But that was my house.
Right.
She had her house.
Right.
She said, I want to sell.
Right.
Are you out your freaking mind?
Right. No, I hear you.
We don't sell property.
Right. Keep it.
I don't want nothing to do with that. You know.
So you sold it.
Here's the crazy thing. The buyer couldn't close.
Ooh.
The loan ended. The buyer couldn't close. So they had to rent from us for 4 months. And we reported back to the lender so that they could handle the amount. And then they were able to close.
Oh my God.
So 6 months later, she got rent for 6 months in the property. So
oh my God.
she bought the property at $30,000. We put some shoulders and elbow grease into the property.
Right.
It was livable. When I moved in with her, she had fans everywhere. I made sure the HVAC system worked.
Right. That's
because I got to be comfortable.
Right. You got to be comfortable.
Right. Particularly, I was like,
and it's your new wife too, so you had
to
make
be
it
comfortable.
Especially y'all done went up in there and made a baby. You got to cool down with
that
the
was
baby.
Before the baby.
But, that's what I'm saying. That's because y'all was cool.
We were comfortable. We would have been comfortable. So my point is, she didn't see it at the time.
Right.
So now, in 2020, as I was starting, and actually I didn't tell the whole story because before the current family investment group, I started another one with other family members, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't gel. So that was 2021. So I started one before, and it just didn't work. And I said, I got to reconfigure the players on this team.
Absolutely.
And it was 2022 when we were able to reconfigure the right players.
Wow.
So, it might take a couple of shots. You might have to try a couple times.
Well, I'm going to stay encouraged for that.
Well, my point is, my multiple points, is I feel you because my wife did the same thing up until 2021.
That's so good.
When she went through a workshop system that I created called Making Black Millionaires. William and Tawana Randolph were mentors.
Wow.
William became our mentor.
Wow.
William walked her through, and she invested in mentorship with William, and she started a real estate investment company.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I was doing the real estate investing.
Right.
But she started a real estate investing company that we both run now. So we talk about that generational flip thing.
Right.
She's the founder.
So
I'm the managing member.
That's so dope.
Right. But look, we've been married 26 some years.
Yeah.
It took 20 years of me continually exposing her to the kind of stuff that we've been exposed to.
Right.
We force ourselves to be exposed to before the needle moved for her.
Right.
Now she's the boss.
Yeah. And she is
and
definitely
she tells me that all the time. I'm the boss. Is. This is my business.
Yes.
Like,
no,
okay.
she is definitely the boss, and she is doing magnificent. And I think you guys are doing good, and she's staging. So it's like,
her staging is phenomenal.
Right. So you got the built-in whole family system going, which is so super dope. And I really, really love it for you guys. So now, as we begin to wrap up this conversation, what would you like, because we've talked about generational flip, they know where to get it, the information is below. What
can I talk a little more about it?
Yes,
like 2 minutes?
Yep, 2 more. But you know what? You have the floor. It's not just 2 minutes.
So
go ahead.
I talked about episode 1 with A. Donahue Baker.
Yes.
Episode 2, William Randolph talks about how he built a legacy bank.
Right.
It's freaking incredible.
I know you were talking about
that. And Angel Rich goes even deeper in that. Episode 3. Well, episode 1 is called You Will Be Wealthy.
Okay.
Episode 2, We is collective action. Will be wealthy.
Right.
Episode 4 is Awakening to Wealth and Power. Angel Rich does a masterclass on becoming powerful that blows away anything I've ever seen.
Wow.
This woman is incredible.
Wow.
She's a Hamptonian.
That's so awesome.
She was behind me. She's, a few years behind me, but she's a Hamptonian.
Wow.
She just made herself a billionaire.
Wow.
One of the things she talks about is how her mother taught her mind over matter in a way that most people think if you don't mind, you don't matter.
Right.
No. This mind over matter is your mind controls your matter. Your mind controls your body.
Right.
So her mother taught her how she could change her temperature using her mind when she found herself in a cold situation that didn't have clothes.
I was taught that too. That's so crazy.
Okay.
I was taught that too.
Yeah.
And I was taught, that's, you know what, you guys, I'm not going to go into a long thing, but anybody that knows me knows that I don't get sick. And the reason I don't get sick is because my belief is that everything starts in the mind. And that's why I was raised. I was raised to live. I was raised mind over matter.
Yeah. And
so I also have had those situations. So and then so I was raised like that too.
Right.
So I think that
it's
that's
amazing.
A powerful concept. But I teach my kids. So it's like
dope.
I teach my kids.
That's
so it's
dope.
like they naturally have some things. Like my kids, my youngest ones especially, they have. Well, my middle one especially, she has allergies. All the other boys only did the other two, and with them.
You made some pretty kids.
Thank you. Thank you. I got 3 daughters, so shucks. You figure that they know, and I always tell them, you have to say it out loud. I do not get sick, and we really don't.
And that activates something.
I know, and we really don't, though. You have to speak it.
You
have to speak it. You have to know it, and you have to really, really believe it, and it will change stuff. So, like for example, just really quick, last week, I was outside on that Saturday when it was kind of warm, and we had how Virginia, Hampton Roads was 60 degrees. Yeah, I'm telling you, we had 60 degrees. I'm out there with a sweatsuit on, and that whole evening I was sniffling. And I promise you, before I went to bed, I was like, I know I don't get sick. And I woke up, boom. It's just like, I don't get sick.
You activate
I don't. And then I do herbs and all that kind of stuff too. But I mean, seriously, that's what it is. That's powerful though. And it really does change things. I can settle myself into any environment. Mm-hmm. I can calm myself in anything. And I was taught that really, really young, and especially in high stress environments. I can completely just shut down, slow my breathing. It's a lot of stuff. It's like you know, that's when you grow up with them parents that's Panthers. You learn stuff like that. Did she have that type of upbringing?
I don't know if her parents were involved in the movement to that degree. I know that both of her parents were involved to parts of the movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if they were part of the Panthers.
Yeah, my dad wasn't a part of the Panthers, but they were definitely a part of those movements, especially my dad.
My parents were too.
Yeah, and so they just, that's a lot of that training, a lot of that ancient African training that they hide from us, you know, that's natural to us. So, that's
so
dope.
Angel talks about how using those principles, she's been able to cause it her manifestation. Her husband calls it her manifestation principle. Has been able to make things that are so valuable that people, she calls, she's been called the next Steve Jobs.
That's amazing.
Look, she's working with experience. She owns she's a co-owner of a bank that Visa just funded. I mean, she's doing dope stuff.
That's amazing.
You know,
that's super amazing.
Billionaire.
Right.
So the things she talks about, it blows people's minds. They're not familiar with that level of consciousness. So you can find that level of consciousness once you go to Generational Flip on YouTube, or if you go to GenerationalFlip.com. So that's episode 1, 2, and 3. Season 2 starts with episode 4, which will be out soon, and that's mental health and wealth.
Right.
And I can't say enough about it. I want to change lives.
Right.
And the great thing
is,
the documentary mixtape series is changing lives. It's changing mentality. People are watching it and calling me and saying, hey, I want to try this. I want to do this. Oh, I need to rethink this after what I saw.
Right.
So, hey, I just tell people.
That endowment piece is huge. I'm telling you, that endowment, I did not know that. And I'm never afraid to admit what I didn't know, especially when I'm coming to new information. I want to mention, too, another person that was a very strong manifester, and it's very well documented, is who took me to the next level in my adulthood, which was Dick Gregory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about how Dick Gregory would be out on the road till the day before all the bills was due. And he'd just come home.
With the money.
No, he would come home and just go in the room and just meditate, and by the next day, money would show up.
I went to college with Pam Gregory, his daughter. She used to float around the campus. I had the biggest crush on her.
No, I bet.
She floated around the campus, and I learned that she kind of manifested a lot of the things that her father taught her.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they said that. I mean, it was his children. It was his children that talked about it mainly. But that's what. And then he talked about it some before he passed. But they talked about how their mother be pulling the head out, and it got to a point where after years, she just stopped even worrying too.
Yeah.
Because he would just come back from off the road. You know, he was an advocate, and he'd be out marching, and everything piling up pink slips. We coming to cut this, we coming to take this, and he would come home, and he may have some money or no money, and he would just sit there, no phone, nothing. So it's not like he in there making calls.
Yeah, he tapped
and he would tap into consciousness of universal consciousness and universal abundance. And all that he had put out, because you think about it, it's not like the money magically appeared. It's that all that he had put out into the world returned. Right?
With interest.
And that's what true manifestation is, people. It's not that you create something out of nothing. It's that universal energy is never lost nor destroyed, so you manifest out of what you put out into the world. When you bring abundance into your life, it's because you planted that seed in some area of your consciousness in the world. So,
can I get an ashe? Dr. Umar voice. Yo, check out documentary series.
Yes.
Generational Flip. It's on YouTube. Yes. Or GenerationalFlip.com. I want you to get what she's talking about, and it's in there. And here's a good thing. We're in talks to have her in one of the upcoming episodes.
Absolutely.
Because, as you can see, she's the business, right?
We're going to work on it. We definitely going to work on it. I'll be honored to participate. You know that. I'll be honored to participate. And I just appreciate you so much for kicking off our Black History Month Investor Series number 2. This is episode 12, you guys. So go ahead, like, subscribe, share, tap in below, okay? Log into GenerationalFlip.com, okay? Get all of the information, get it without videos and all of the little commercials in the middle of it. Download it so you can share it with your family. You can project it. IKEA has a projector screen on sale, you guys. Go ahead and get that from IKEA. And so you get that, you project the screen, you and your family, popcorn, snacks, learn something. Come on. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate you tapping in and tuning in. And Flawless family, I just hope you have an amazing and blessed week and month. We'll be talking to you soon. Flawless living made simple. Bye.